Hello and welcome to a special... Good morning and welcome to Esper's book programme. And in this episode we are going to be discussing our favourite books that we have on board that we consider to be absolutely essential. So the rule here is that they are books that have to be on the boat, that have never left the boat, and are ones that we often refer back to.
Yes.
Is that acceptable?
Yes, it is. Not always necessarily essential, but books that we definitely still have on the boat.
Yes.
So we can both talk about all the books that we've chosen for hours and hours and hours, but to make this video actually watchable and to keep it short, we're going to time each other as we talk about the books we've selected. So no more than 30 seconds on every book, maximum.
This is the only way I can get her to stop talking. Alright, okay, do you want to go first? I'm going to time you. Right, Liz's first book, your 30 seconds start now.
This book, you can't see anything because the outside's fallen off because we use it so much, I have used it so much. It's The World Cruising Routes by Jimmy Cornell. Every world cruising boat should have it. Having cruised in some of these areas, don't always agree with everything he says, but it's a great way to start your planning when you're starting your planning for going around the world or crossing oceans. It's got everything here. It's got small routes, big routes, world cruising routes, different ways, north, south, east, west. You can do it all. It is...
Stop.
Jamie's first choice. Start.
Okay, this is Boat Owner's Mechanical and Electrical Manual by Nigel Calder. Pretty much every boat should have one of these. Nigel writes in a really succinct and interesting way because boat electronics and maintenance is a pretty dry subject, but he has a certain way of writing. What I particularly like are his troubleshooting exercises. It's a very, very good book that has been well thumbed and we use it all the time, especially when we get stuck in sticky situations. It pretty much covers everything that you need to know about boat maintenance.
Stop! I'd just like to say that Nigel's a lot more succinct than he is.
Okay, next up we have a book that is probably Liz's favourite, I think, one of her favourites, and your 30 seconds starts now.
It's certainly one that I refer to quite a lot. It is The Cruiser's Handbook of Fishing, and it's by Scott Bannerot and Wendy Bannerot. Anyway, it is absolutely brilliant if you want to try and fish off the back of the boat, off the side of the boat, if you're aiming for certain types of fish, what lures to use. It has everything right from the very beginning, for very beginners, up to real world-class fishermen. I use this, sometimes it works.
Perfect, that was 30 seconds.
The next one from Jamie is a book that he used quite a lot in the beginning, not quite so much now, but it's good to refer to. And start.
It is the Reed Skipper's Handbook for Sail and Power by Malcolm Pearson. What I particularly like about it is that it's pocket-sized. Malcolm Pearson manages to cover pretty much every aspect of the coal regs. So you've got lights and sounds, you've got things like taking transits, what else we've got, tidal calculations, and how to anchor. It's just a really useful little reference book, especially...
Stop.
You're starting out. Next up we have a book that was given to us as a present, I believe, but I'm sorry we can't remember who gave it to us, but your 30 seconds, Elizabeth, begins now.
It's this book. It's sweet, it's small, it's compact, it's a hardcover, it's the Sailing Companion. We gave this to our friend Emma as well. It's fun. It's got lots and lots of funny little stories, little quotes, lots of useful information, and it's the kind of thing you have by the side of the book or in the loo and just dip in and out of. It isn't that life ashore is distasteful to me, but life at sea is better. That was Sir Francis Drake. Oh, I've got one more. The cure for anything is salt water, sweat, tears, or the sea.
There we go. 30 seconds, done.
Anyone who lives on the boat loves looking at the stars, so Jamie has chosen a particular star book here, and you may go now.
This is Stargazing by, sadly, the late Patrick Moore. Now, if any of you non-British sailors have never heard of Patrick Moore before, he ran one of the longest running TV programmes called The Sky at Night, and this book is a very simple explanation of the major star constellations, and it's written in his own way, which was quite unique. He was a very nice man, and this book is written in pretty much the same way. Very simple, just black and white illustrate. Liz's other most thumbed book along with the fishing book is this one, and she has 30 seconds starting now.
It's the Cruising Chef Cookbook by Michael Greenwald, people have heard me talk about this before. It's the best cookery book for boats. Tells you everything from how to provision, how to store, how to cook in just one pot, how to cook fish that you may find anywhere in the world, simple basic things to keep in your galley. Really well written and funny, and the guy really knows what he's talking about. The Cruising Chef Cookbook, really, you must get it.
I think you've been practicing this because you're getting all yours within 30 seconds and I don't even begin. I guess that says something about the way we communicate.
You're verbose. This is a particular book that Jamie loves, and he found it very early on, and we still have it on board, and we still do occasionally use it, and you may start.
You've heard me talk about this one before. It's the Sailing Dictionary. I had previously said that it's out of print and it's very difficult to buy, but when I last mentioned it, quite a few of you found it quite cheap on eBay. But it has every single nautical terminology ever invented, along with lots of really good illustrations. So it's just a very useful book to refer to every now and then when you want to impress your sailing buddies down the bar with lots of interesting nautical words.
Oh, well done.
Next up, we have one of the smallest books on the boat. 30 seconds starting now.
Not know how. Everybody needs to know how to tie their knots on a boat, and this is the second copy because the first one got waterlogged. I don't use it quite so much now because after 11 years I have learned a few knots, but it is very, very useful just to refer back to. It also has whipping and all kinds of knots that perhaps you don't use all the time. Really, really easy illustrations. Not know how.
There we go.
This is a book that Jamie used to use as he's walking around the deck. I could see him standing at the mast as we're sailing using this particular book. This is early on. You have 30 seconds starting now.
This is by Ivor Dedekam, and it is on the basics of sail and rig tuning. And as Liz said, I often found myself at the mast when we first put the cruising chute out, book in one hand and line in the other. What's particularly good about it are the very simple illustrations. He doesn't complicate sail trim and rig tuning. He makes it very simple. So it's a great reference book to have. Definitely recommend that one.
Well done.
Just moving away slightly now from the reference manuals, we've got something a bit more literary. Elizabeth, 30 seconds now.
Can't find my copy of Moby Dick, but if you're a sailor, you must read Moby Dick. What I have got here is Nathaniel Philbrick's In the Heart of the Sea, which is the story of the Essex, which is what Moby Dick was based on. And it's a really good read. It's incredible. It's reference, but it's really sensational. So generally, we don't keep fiction on the boat. We use book swaps. So the only one we have got is Moby Dick, somewhere. This is a book that I should have read and haven't read. I've experienced what's in it, some of it, but I need to read it. So Jamie's going to tell us all about it right now.
It deserves more than 30 seconds, but it's Adelaide Cole's Heavy Weather Sailing by Peter Bruce. And this is absolutely essential reading. I'm actually mildly annoyed and frustrated that she hasn't read it. The first half is all about tactics and techniques. The second half is a number of case studies. It's a book that you should be referencing regularly, not just for long offshore cruises, but also coastal cruising as well. It's a book also that I don't like picking up to read because it scares me, but packed full of lots of really good things. And finally, now.
When you run out of book swaps, when you've read everything you've got on the boat, then you really have to have one of these. It's a Kindle, and mine is loaded with hundreds and thousands of books, literally. When we were in the Nambus, I didn't have any internet connection, I didn't have any books to read, and I read about 15 or 16 books using my Kindle. Takes up no space, stores a lot of fiction and non-fiction. Get a Kindle.
That's good. That was just over 20 seconds.
So finally, you might be asking why we even bother with books when we've now got the internet and everything's available online. Well, when it comes to the practical problem solving, we're often not anywhere that has internet connection, are we? Especially if we're out at sea. And that Nigel Calder book we have used in so many situations. You do need books. You need something that you can physically reference in certain situations.
Exactly, and I think actually a book is even easier to reference than so even if you've got it on the Kindle, it can be quite difficult, especially if you've got grubby, greasy hands. Having that book is just a little bit easier, isn't it? But as you say, we're offline a lot of the time.
We are indeed, yeah. I mean, in the kitchen I've got that book and it's all covered in stains and things. I wouldn't want to have anything in there that's going to get covered in grease or stains or be dropped. Same with the fishing. I have it up there in the cockpit while I'm tying things.
So we hope you found that interesting and useful, or maybe gave you some ideas for yourself and maybe presents for wannabe sailors. If you have any recommended books that we haven't covered here or that you think we should have on board, then please let us know. Put them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
Preferably small books.
We have got links to every single book we've mentioned in this video in the description. Have a look in the description. They are affiliate links to Amazon.com and also Amazon.co.uk. Affiliate links just means that we get a tiny little something if you click on it, but it doesn't cost you any extra. So if you want to support our videos and you want to buy the books, then please just use those links. And the money goes towards little gift vouchers, I think.
Yeah, it does. And we're not promoting them, are we?
No,
we've not been paid for this. This is genuinely what we've got. I mean, you can see the state of most of these books. Generally what we have on the boat, so we're not getting any commission or anything like that.
There we go. So,
Happy reading.
Happy reading.